So now we have Pat Robertson that is weighing in on the death of journalist Jamal Khashoggi. Now, Khashoggi, of course, was killed in the Saudi Arabian consulate in Istanbul. And boy, the details of his death are actually incredibly gruesome. Now, Robertson, he's actually very disturbed by this. And he's apparently urging caution into this investigation. In fact, let's take a look at what he said.
I just want to cool down the temper of those who are screaming blood for the Saudis. Look, these people are key allies. Our main enemy in the Middle East is Iran, and the Saudis stand up against Iran. And I know that Wahhabi faith that they practice is obnoxious, and what they've done in relation to women is obnoxious, and some of their courts are obnoxious. But nevertheless, I don't think on this issue that we need to pull sanctions and get tough. I just think it's a mistake. Behind the scenes, the president can talk to the king and say, look, you've got to cool this thing and get it straightened out. But as he said, we've got an arms deal that everybody wanted a piece of. It's like, what is it, $190 billion? It's huge. And it'll mean a lot of jobs, and it'll be a lot of money coming to our coffers. And it's not something that you want to blow up willy-nilly.
That man is literally like 150 years old. I'm not being ageist here, but he looks like he's like 1 foot in the grave. Like, how is that man still alive? But that's my non-serious point. We'll go to the serious point now. So here you have Pat Robertson saying, well, I mean, look, the government of Saudi Arabia may have actually murdered a journalist. We don't know. But we need to tone down that rhetoric and use some caution because look at Iran. Iran, so dangerous. Iran. Just remember how dangerous Iran is. And also, well, we got to sell weapons to Saudi Arabia. We got to sell them to somebody because that means jobs. Oh, so selling weapons that get used to bomb innocent people in Yemen and create a massive famine that nobody talks about. That's somehow fantastic because jobs. Of course. But hey, jobs. And remember, Iran, very, very dangerous. Yeah, you know what? That's right. You remember when 15 of the 19 attackers on 9/11 were from Iran? Oh, wait, no. Okay, well, do you remember when Iran was spreading fundamentalist Wahhabist Islam across the Middle East at the urging of the CIA to fight the communists? Oh, no, wait. Oh, sorry. Wrong again. Saudi Arabia. Weird. You know, in Iran, actually, talking about Iran, you know that we helped, by we, I mean the CIA, helped overthrow their democratically elected government. And then instituted a puppet government who was then overthrown by a repressive regime as a direct consequence of us overthrowing their government. Maybe it's not Iran that's the problem. Maybe it's U.S. foreign policy. And of course, speaking of our disastrous foreign policy, we are backing Saudi Arabia in exchange for basically cheap oil. So we supply them with weapons, and we also turn a blind eye to their massive human rights abuses, like killing journalists. Now, on Wednesday, the New York Times had reported that it obtained audio from Turkish sources of Khashoggi being murdered or tortured, murdered, and dismembered inside the consulate. Now, I've gotten comments as, how lazy are they? How stupid are they to carry out such a brazen attack in a consulate? No, it's neither of those things. It's not that they're stupid. It's not that they're lazy. It's that for so long, they had gotten away with it. And that's the thing. They get away with it. Because for so long, the United States would turn its eye or turn its back on Saudi Arabia because of the petrodollar and because of, again, cheap oil. And the fact that, oh, well, we've got an ally in the region. What kind of ally are they? They're a fundamentalist state that murders people for apostasy and witchcraft. They cut off people's hands. They barely let women drive. So, but that's what we do. That's our foreign policy. And yes, that foreign policy under President Obama, under the Democrats and Republicans. And we still, same thing, turn a blind eye. Now, I mentioned that the details of Khashoggi's death is, horrifying, right? He was basically dismembered alive and with a bone saw. And one of the guys that was doing it, and by the way, another piece of news that came out today is that one of the people that were in that 15-person hit squad mysteriously died in a car accident today. Oops. Weird. It's weird how that happens. But when they were murdering him, they said, well, just put in some music. When I do this, I know it helps to put in some music, put in my earbuds. Okay. Now, is any of that going to matter to Pat Robertson? Now, that was an old clip of a couple of days ago. So now he comes out to clarify in a new video, in a new discussion on the 700 Club. In fact, let's watch that.
I'm saying, I'll say it now and I'll say it over and over again, we've got to cool the rhetoric. And what the president is trying to do is to give the Saudis an out, and calls for sanctions and calls for punitive action against the Saudis is ill-advised. Why? Because our main enemy in the Middle East is Iran. They are the fomenters of terrorism, and they're killing a lot of people. And then we've got Assad in Syria, who's killing many, many, many thousands of people and causing millions of refugees. You've got one journalist who knows? Was it interrogation? Was he assassinated? Were there rogue elements? Who did it? Well, the Secretary of State, Mike Pompeo, is in Saudi Arabia today seeking answers from the Saudi royal family over that missing journalist, and allegedly who was killed by, they think, Saudi operatives, but they don't know for sure. And Wendy, I just don't think you've got $100 billion worth of arms sales, which is, that's one of those things. But more than that, we've got to have some Arab allies. We have to have it. We cannot alienate our biggest player in the Middle East who's a bulwark against Iran.
But can we have somebody that's killing journalists that are U.S. residents is the question.
We've had so many people killed. We had CIA people killed in Lebanon. People have been taken hostage over the years. I know it's bad, but we've had all kinds of stuff. But you don't blow up an international alliance over one person. I'm sorry.
That got progressively worse as it went on. At first, it's like, oh, man, I just want to reiterate how we just need to get the facts, and maybe it was the Saudi operatives, and maybe it was rogue players, etc. But boy, it's only one guy. We don't blow up international agreements in these arms sales that are worth over $100 billion for one guy. That went from zero to completely fucked up. Actually, it wasn't even zero, but it went from 10 to completely fucked up in 5 seconds. And that co-host is like, yeah, but do we really want to, sell weapons and stuff to people who murder journalists? And Pat Robinson's like, I don't care. Gotta make money, man. Gotta make money. Look, who cares if it's a journalist who was tortured to death? Can't mess up an opportunity to sell weapons. We just can't. Can't blow that up. Who cares? Here's the mindset. It's basically American interests over anything else. And not just American interests, actually just corporate interests over human beings. Profits over people. And of course, here you'll have on the right an obsession with for a new war with Iran. Now, Look, Pat Robertson, that's why he keeps saying, oh, Pat Robertson, we need war with Iran, war with Iran, war with Iran. Not just him, though. You also had the late John McCain. John McCain, bomb Iran. Lindsey Graham, let's bomb Iran, let's bomb North Korea, let's bomb everybody. Mike Pompeo, same thing. John Bolton, same thing. All these neocon warhawks have traditionally called for war with Iran. That's what they want to do. That is what they care about. War with Iran. So, look, I'm not for war. I think that's fairly obvious. I'm also not for selling weapons to regimes that not only oppress their own people, but also in the case of the Saudis, bomb innocent people in Yemen. And they're using our bombs. I mean, look, CNN did a fantastic report of where they tracked what companies are supplying what bombs that have killed civilian targets in Yemen. So that's a big problem. Big problem. But again, here you have people who are so-called Christians that are basically just copying the pro-Trump propaganda, right? And right now Trump is saying, "Oh no, I think the Saudis are innocent. I think the Saudi government didn't do anything. No, it must have been like road actors." And so yes, we're going to continue with our arms sales because hey, all my friends in industry say arms sales are fantastic, wonderful. So let's do that and defend the Saudi government, who basically is. And here's where the irony comes in for Pat Robertson. That government is massively fundamentalist and practices Sharia law. Remember all the times you guys were worried about Sharia law here in America and fucking Kentucky? Like, oh, here comes the Sharia law. Oh, my God. Well, now, Pat Robertson's like, I mean, it's obnoxious, some of the stuff that they do. But I'm willing to overlook it because they're our ally in the region and they buy our weapons. Amazing the things that you can overlook. When Pat Robertson is one of the people calling Islam itself evil and then saying, oh, by the way, let's sell them a bunch of guns, a bunch of bombs and jets and stuff. Sell them advanced American weaponry. Those people who are supposedly evil. It's complete rank hypocrisy on Pat Robertson. I mean, look, he is nothing more than a mouthpiece for the far Christian right, spreading basically propaganda to the evangelical base who can't wait to start another war in the Middle East. Now, they're itching for war with Iran. That's who they want. And they want Israel probably to start it. Or us to start it and for Israel to get involved. Well, now, why Israel? What does any of this have to do with Israel? Well, it's because of their fanatical belief in the end times. That's what they care about, ultimately. It's to end the world and to have Jesus come back. And that's what a lot of these pro-Trump evangelicals that voted massively in favor as a bloc to help elect President Trump believe in. They see in him the vehicle for the end times. And if that ain't fucking scary, I don't know what is. But it sure does also explain a lot. Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video. If you want to see more like this, please hit the subscribe button below. And if you want to support truly independent progressive media, please consider becoming a patron at patreon.com/TYTNation.